This is a sermon about living and dying and standing. In the reading from John this evening, we learned that Mary stands near the cross of Jesus. This is the second of 2 times Mary appears in John's Gospel. First, at the beginning of Jesus' ministry, she nudges him to do something about the fact that the wedding reception has run out of wine. Second, here, at the end of his ministry, she says nothing, but stands near her son as he dies. In the other 3 Gospels, Mary watches the crucifixion from a distance, from afar. John includes Mary on center stage, at the foot of the cross on which Jesus is hanged. Roman crucifixion predates Jesus. Crucifixion was not about Jesus. Crucifixion was the means of executing slaves, already the lowest of society, when they were disobedient or fugitives, or otherwise failed to fulfill their function as the support for the true citizens of society. Crucifixion not only punished offenders with torture and death, it also performed the degradation and dehumanization of offenders. Crucifixion meant stripping and whipping, public exposure of the whole body, violent abuse, unrelenting suffering. It was the most shameful way to die. Crucifixion killed personhood before it killed the person, or the ex-person. Mary could have left Jesus' death by crucifixion to avoid that shame and humiliation. She could have left to save her memory of him as a thriving man in his prime. She could have begged the centurions to stop, to set him free. She could have begged them to hasten his death, to end his suffering sooner. She does not. She stands and faces his death with him. John reports that Mary stands, but he does not mention how. As Christians have continued and still continue to make sense of this man, Jesus, who is more than a man, and this woman, Mary, who is the mother of God, they have wondered about the details of Mary's presence at the crucifixion. Does she weep or shout? Is she stoical or distraught? Centuries of theological commentaries, church divisions, poetry, visual art, music, and devotional practices reflect these questions and their ramifications. Some images show the Stabat Mater, the standing mother, unmoved, detached from Jesus' agonies. Some images show Mary as the sorrowful mother, the Mater Dolorosa, doubled over in lament and despair. This swooning Mary cannot stand and is upheld by her companions. Anguish consumes her heart, mind, and body. In a related version, Mary is in full-on labor, giving birth to Jesus in new life, or giving birth to all of humanity, reborn through his death. In others, Mary is experiencing the crucifixion herself, with and as Jesus, the soul of the mother in the body of her son, so that she becomes a co-redeemer. One countering version critiques her wailing and flailing as indications of her sinful doubt about the divinity of Jesus. And another charges that her lack of protest at Jesus' crucifixion indicates her sinful weakness. I am most inspired by images of Mary's grief combined with her faithful perseverance. She is closer to Jesus than any other. His flesh is of her flesh. She is his mother. So she suffers when he suffers. The sword that pierced her through when beneath the cross of Jesus she his weight of suffering knew. And she sustains hope that there is more than suffering and death. As she stands in her grief at the foot of the cross, She displays fortitude and faith, not fear and inconstancy. St. John Henry Newman writes, "What an overwhelming horror it must have been for the Blessed Mary to witness the passion and crucifixion of her Son." He continues, "If our Lord himself could not bear the prospect of what was before him, and was covered in the thought of it with a bloody sweat, his soul thus acting upon his body, does this not show how great mental pain can be?" And yet Mary suffers great mental pain, perseveres, and bears the pain with and for her Son. In the face of the dehumanizing aims of crucifixion, Mary persists in loving her human Son. In Jesus' complete vulnerability and death, Mary mourns and she participates in God's invulnerable, eternal love. Mary might bend, as does a palm tree in a storm, but she remains standing. She remains by Jesus' side with love that continues beyond death. With this last image in mind, I return to John's minimalist account of Mary standing. She accompanies Jesus through suffering, humiliation, and death, which she does not avoid, delay, or hasten. She models constancy and care in the most dire of circumstances. It is little wonder that many Christians ask Mary to pray for those who suffer. Mary, the comfort of the afflicted, Mother of mercy, Mother of sorrows, Our Lady of consolation. Mary, who abides with her Son in his agonizing death, also stands near those in need and prays to Jesus for them. Mary's presence and her prayers witness to the time when God shall wipe away all tears, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain. Now, rest assured, it is not necessary to be the Blessed Virgin Mary in order to pray for or care for people in need. It is not necessary to develop practices of Marian devotion in order to appreciate the gift, the work of accompanying people who are struggling. It is not necessary to ask for Mary's prayers in order to abide with someone whose only comfort might be having you nearby. Your own compassionate presence can ease pain, soothe fear, reassure uncertainty. But you know this already, of course. You know about the gift of someone who sticks by you in a crisis, who truly listens, who doesn't avoid the intensity of what you're experiencing. When you feel like the psalmist and wonder, "How long will you forget me, O Lord? Forever? How long will you hide your face from me?" It is often a friend whose company diminishes your distress. When you cannot feel calmness or hope yourself, the presence of an unflappable companion can sustain hope for you and with you. And so, I implore you, be like Mary in constancy. Stand with your friends and family in need. Stand or sit with people who are sick, sad, or wounded. Accompany each other in suffering. Visit your neighbor. Purchase clothes from a hospice charity shop. Send notes to a lonely friend. Support a carer. Be a carer. Stand nearby. Let us encourage each other to be companions, to be present with patience and perseverance.